Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about what Pirates is, because, so Pirates is 3 tanks and 2 supports, and you stack, basically, that's it. You have 3 tanks, you have 2 supports, and you will stack on the objective. These are the tanks you can play in Pirates. The reason that these are the tanks that you can play in Pirates is because they all have some sort of mitigation. You need mitigation on point in Pirates because your supports are very, very squishy. So if you do not protect them, they will die. You need some form of mitigation. Even some of these tanks here are iffy at best, and really you only pick them in worst case scenario. 99% of the time, you will be taking these 6 tanks. What about the supports? These are the supports. If you pick anything else, it gets very, very hard, and the reason for that is that these are the only supports that can heal themselves. Every support has some sort of sustain, but only these ones can really keep themselves alive through the nonsense that's going to be going on point. And even then, you usually only want these 4. The other ones are very squishy. We'll get to this fucker. So let's have a little quiz, shall we? Are the following comps Pirates? This one isn't. Sure, it has 3 tanks and 2 supports, but it cannot stack. Genos will die. Torvald will die. Furia, she cannot safely reset her Solar Blessing Beams. She will die. You can do Pirates things with the comp, like you can stack with this comp, but you will die. It's like if I took 5 main tanks and I said, this is a dive comp. That's 5 main tanks. I'm calling it a dive comp. It's like, well, sure, buddy, you can try, I guess. And I mean, if you want to call it that, like, go for it, but like that is not a dive comp. You will lose. You will lose. That's not a dive comp. Is this Pirates? No, it doesn't even have 3 tanks or 2 supports. And again, it cannot stack. It has no mitigation. The Grok will die. Is it a completely awful comp? No. Is the fact that it's not a completely awful comp show that the game's in a healthy balance state? No. The fact that this is even a little bit viable is awful. Does it even have good character design? This is Pirates. It's 3 tanks, it's 2 supports, and it can stack. This is what Pirates looks like, and it's a small distinction, but it's significant. Is this Pirates? Fuck you, Hyper. Like, there's room for Pirates to grow, and maybe it's even not complete ass with the right players in practice, but 5 stacking plat ranked as Masters doesn't show anything, and getting away with things that you shouldn't doesn't show anything either. Triple tank is a composition. It changes how you determine your win condition compared to other compositions. Double support is not a composition. Double support is a thing that a composition can have. This is a list of like the comps that I could think of off like the top of my head, basically. And aside from Pirates, all of these can be double support, right? You can have standard with double support. You can have triple DPS with double support. You can have triple tank with double support. Like, double support is not a composition. And I'll be going more into these things in an upcoming intro to strategy and rank video, which will be out within the next like 6 years at this rate. And also, this is like just semantics. You can call these comps whatever you want. But yeah, Pirates is 3 tanks, 2 supports, and it can stack. Pirates is not triple tank plus double support. I have been having this issue for like literally years if you go back far enough on Twitter. It's not triple tank plus double support. The Torv comp that Team Ship played was triple tank with double support. Important distinction. Is Pirates good? God, no. Team Ship was amazing, but also complete ass, right? Like in scrims, we had a 24% win rate on Pirates and an 80% win rate on other compositions. Eagle Eye Canessa has a higher win rate than Pirates. Pirates is not good. If Pirates is ever good, then the game's balanced as fucked, because like a viable strategy is to sit on point, and like the things that would have to be in such a bullshit state to enable that, the game would not be in a good spot. Oh, but Pirates is good. No, it's not, and you are bad. But that's okay. Being wrong is the first step towards being right. We're not here to judge, we're here to learn. Team Ship was created because like it would be really funny if a good team actually lost to us. No one lost to us. So now let's talk about how to actually beat Pirates. So for hard counters, first of all, let's get this triple tank double support sitting on point thing out of the way, because it is a very bad idea. It's very simple. You literally just shoot whoever the weakest member is. There is a reason that Pirates needs 5 very specific picks, and that's because like sitting on point is really, really hard. It's really, really difficult as a squishy. Like tanks can do it. don't shoot the tanks. Do not shoot the tanks. The supports are very vulnerable if they do not have the actual extra healing and mitigation. These triple tank, double support masquerading as pirate comps, they don't have the mitigation to keep a support alive on point. If you get one kill, it will just snowball, because all of a sudden you take away all those resources. Again, sitting on point is so hard. If you don't have the entire resources of one person to enable sitting on point like that, you're just going to slowly fall over and die. One kill always snowballs in pirates. The best way to get that kill, if they don't just fall over when you shoot them after you stop shooting tanks, is burst. Even triple tank double support will have a lot of sustain. You can't really just like break through that over time. You want to burst them quick. So usually that revolves around using alts, but it kind of just depends on what comp you have. The easiest way is draft, right? You see pirates coming, you know, oh my god, why did they ban Willow on Fish Market? And then you ban the important stuff for pirates, right? Grok, Damba, Koa term is usually what you're gonna ban. Grok is like the composition's only really insanely good alt that can let them do other stuff. Damba is the best support. He has the most healing. He's very survivable. His alt is like still good. Koa is the best mitigation. It's literally a 360-degree shield that keeps your supports nice and safe, and term stops blasters. If pirates doesn't have some of these, it gets very difficult for the comp to actually survive. Like if you just ban term and Koa, you basically have just, they can't play pirates anymore. That's the reason that Team Ship didn't really get to play pirates in the tournament, is because it got banned out every game. Another hard counter is going to be Nando and Drogue. Nando Drogue is a guaranteed kill, and again, one kill snowballs. The only answer that Pirates has to it is to hopefully have the term body block it and then immediately res. That's not like super easy to do. And as well, these characters are also good into Pirates by themselves. They are soft counters. Combustible, I definitely spelled that wrong just looking at it now. Combustible is good really early because against no Reasel, it just knocks everyone everywhere and out of shields, and then you kill the supports. And as well as the other team doesn't have term, then like, again, you can just trade, and one kill snowballs so much harder for Pirates than it does for any other comp. The Nando just never dies. Pirates can't really afford to buy Wrecker, and Nando is super survivable. He has his ult to live. He just doesn't die, and the longer Pirates has to survive on point, again, I can't stress this enough, surviving on point is really, really hard. So the longer you have to do it for, because Nando never dies, you cannot kill him, the longer you have to survive on point for, the more likely something's going to go wrong. And that's it. And that's like nothing. That's like, what, 2 hard counters? Pirates should almost always win, in theory, but you never get Pirates. Like, the draft happens every game, right? And playing Pirates to the level that is required to beat, like, a team of 4 soft counters, or even, like, 1 or 2 hard counters is, like, really hard. I don't know how many people here are, like, super into Overwatch, but if you even just take a little look at how in-depth GOATS matchups were in Overwatch, like, there's so much going on behind the scenes that you just don't see, and that's the level of coordination and practice, and there's so much that would be required to actually play Pirates to that level that would be required to, like, not instantly lose. So yeah, most games you are playing a bad version of Pirates into, like, a whole bunch of soft counters, and it's really hard. So what are those soft counters? Alt Koga is one of them. The only reason that this is a soft counter and not a hard counter is because sometimes you can speed away, but if you can't speed away, he just kills everything. Like, you just die. It will kill you through Cauterize. It does so much damage. This is the only use for this talent in the entire game. Again, sometimes with Grok Totems, Grok ult in one of Grover's cards, which, like, it's funny because the only use for this Grover card is to speed away from this one specific Koga talent in this one specific matchup. But it can be done. But even if you do have those things, they can still combo, use an R alt into Koga alt, like Pirates just falls over. It's very difficult to deal with this. Speaking of difficult to deal with, Willow is the other hardest thing to deal with. She creates this super big area of can't stand there. The only reason that Willow is not a hard counter is because Pirates can actually move. It is very difficult to do, and Pirates is at its weakest while moving, but like, if Pirates is going to die when they're in the dead zone, then you do not stand in the dead zone. You leave the dead zone. It's very hard, it takes a lot of your cooldowns, and it's usually, you know, it takes a lot of practice. You have to be on the same page, it can be comboed with other things. It's hard. It's doable, but it's really hard, and most teams aren't going to be able to do it. I guarantee any ranked team isn't going to be able to do it. It's doable, but it's like one of the hardest matchups. Tyra's similar to Willow, because again, big area of can't stand there. Pirates can also move away, but like, Tyra Fire can be healed through, which sounds like really stupid, but Pirates has that much sustain. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't mean that you can stand in it, but it means that you have enough time to like move away from it. And as well, Dead Zone is sort of on a long cooldown too, but Tower of Fire especially. When it's not up, these characters do nothing. They have nothing in any other abilities that break Pirates. They have nothing in their ults that break Pirates. And I know you guys are thinking like Tire ult doesn't break Pirates, like, you know, Seedlings doesn't break Pirates, a Blaster doesn't break Pirates. Like, no, are you kidding me? Have you seen the tanks that are being played? Do you know how much healing per second this comp has? Because you are dealing with Term Siphon, with an unbreakable Atlas Wall, with a Makoa shield that resets the more you shoot it. You are dealing with, on average, 1,000 healing per second on 5 people, if not more. 1,000 healing per second. That's above most characters' DPS. And then you gotta consider that, like, because of all these shields, a lot of the time, they are out of cauterize. If you're trying to kill a support, most of the supports have ways to do healing out of caut, with like Sliver and Ghost Walk and Ray Ult, and I cannot stress, like, if you were just to take like 5 DPS and have them shoot Pirates, you would lose. This comp needs specific things to win, and that's the only reason that it's even a little bit viable in like ranked games, is because people are dumb, and people will pick those things. Like, I remember once I spectated an enemy team Androxus playing against Pirates, and it was the saddest thing I've ever seen. He couldn't do anything. He literally couldn't do anything. He shot at us, reloaded, he shot at us, then he reloaded, then he shot at us, then he reloaded. Most of his shots were going in shields. Then he shot at us, then he reloaded. Holy hell, he's got ult! Then his ult got siphoned, and it's like, well, then he shot at us, then he reloaded, then he shot at us, then he reloaded, then he got hooked and he died. A bad matchup into Pirates means that you are doing nothing for that game. But there are characters that break it, so we'll keep going down the list. Corvus, the only reason Corvus is a good matchup is because he builds ult from his ult, and he can just have you in ult like most of the game if he plays his cards right, which is like really annoying. Dredge. Dredge is another example of like, it's hard to break Pirates. Like, if the other team just has a Dredge, you'll probably be fine. You will survive that. The only issue is that it breaks Grok totems, which is kind of funny. It also like combos well with stuff. You know, CC into Dredge ult is a lot of damage. But yeah, so he's a good matchup. Yag. Yag is like a character. Something interesting, it's actually hard to like break Yag ult as Pirates because your comp is like no damage. You have 3 tanks and 2 supports. One of them is probably a Term. The other's probably Makoa. Like, you have 0 damage. If you ult something that actually like does damage, like probably the Grok, it'll probably die. One of the biggest things is that she has AoE caught applying puddles that go through shields. I cannot stress how big this is because it means that your entire team is in caught and you can't break it. And you just can't heal. It's absolutely awful. I have no idea why Yag works this way. Yag will also just never die. She can always escape, basically. She's insanely survivable. She has her ult, she has Harden. Like, this character is very, very good and very, very annoying. Dracham Farm bounces off of her, but like, she's just the worst. Little bonus round of the worst soft counters. Amani Dragon is very survivable because again, you have no damage. It's very hard to mitigate. It takes a lot of time to break. Bulldozer is an item, but like, that's really hard. It means that you're not buying like the items that you actually need. It's hard to deal with. Victor is burst, so he's not really good into Pirates by himself, but like, if you set him up with something, then sure. BK is burst, and he's also set up with his CC. Genos is burst. Eevee has set up, right? Like, the idea is that like, you set up with something, like usually a cripple or a stun or whatever, then you throw in the burst and you kill a support with that, and then again you snowball because you got 1 kill. Maeve, Street Justice can actually get picks sometimes, which like sucks, because again, like, they use something that wasn't like 5 ults and got a kill, and that's like insanely valuable. It shouldn't happen, but it can sometimes happen. Boom Boom Moji is actually kind of scary if there's not a shield in front of her, but there is usually a shield in front of her, so. Ult is actually kind of scary early game.
Trying to walk in.
Guy right, room.
Sky wall up, sky wall up. Oh, never mind. We're stunning mid.
Walking.
Sky stun, sky stun.
The missile.
I got
going for my
I might die
That's
here.
on point.
I got 2.
Yeah, no, I'm dead, I'm dead.
Play for reaching, play for reaching.
No, I got a huge, it's huge, dude.
Okay.
Pop it off, it's
Go for
huge.
Barik, Nice.
Barik,
Good
Barik,
shit.
Barik.
Give it to me.
You're insane.
Let's go.
Oh my god.
With no Weasel, because it kind of like puts you all over the place, and that's sucks. And then Ashe is like discount Yagraf, where she can just like survive and apply caught in an AoE. Also, the fundamentals of this game are like actually pretty important. So space is important. Getting multiple angles is really good. Even if we're not talking Pirates, like, getting multiple angles is really good. So controlling space, good. Against Pirates, they are 5 people on point. You can literally go anywhere on the map that you want that is not on the objective. So surrounding Pirates is very, very good. What about the stuff that looks good but actually isn't? Big CC ults. These are the biggest bait. So Ram and Chicken are the biggest ults. These are good, but they just lose to resilience, right? So early game, there will be no cauterize and no items. This is good for pirates because no cauterize means they can heal through everything. Even if they get hit by an ult, like they all have 1,000 HPS or more. It's pretty crazy. That's if they get hit by it, right? So it's pretty good then, if you get your ult, right? Which you probably should, but because it's pirates. But even then, there's no guarantee you get a kill with it. Mid game, you will have your ult and you will have enough caught, and the other team won't really have enough refill. This is really good for those CC ults. Like you'll see the big ROM ults, the big chickens, and they will get team wipes. Mid game is the hardest time for pirates. But late game, which every Pirates game goes, basically, unless the Pirates team is getting like absolutely dumpstered, but if it's like remotely close, the game will go late because Pirates takes forever to kill. So you'll hit your ult, right? And you'll have enough caught to kill things. So just like you won't kill anything because your ult will do nothing. The other team has Rezel at this point, and also they have more Chronos, which means they're getting out of caught more. So even if you do hit like the big CC ult, it doesn't really matter. It literally just does not matter. This is why Pirates scales late game, is because items benefit Pirates more than ults and items benefit the other team. Guillotine Zhin is really, really bad. It's a bait, you just die. It doesn't apply caught, it just gets healed through. Wrecker, you need Wrecker against Pirates. It's more damage into Makoa Shield, which means more Makoa Shield, which isn't great. If the other team doesn't have a Makoa for some reason, then Wrecker will do really, really well. And again, this is why banning Makoa is like death for Pirates. Most shields in Pirates, maybe not most, but some shields in Pirates aren't breakable, like Term and Atlas, or are affected by Bulldozer, right? Double Wall and Ara, and maybe Azan if he's good in Pirates. And something else, in Pirates, you can usually dedicate one tank for every DPS. Usually the other team is 3 DPS, right? So you'll have like the Makoa will be watching 1 DPS, the Barik will be watching 1 DPS, and the Term will be watching 1 DPS. And usually that's the Term's job, is to look after the best Wrecker, right? You have like a BK or a Drogue or a Victor. That will be the Term's job. So even then, like, Wrecker might not even get that much done, but you do need to buy it, because if you don't, you lose. It just doesn't break Pirates by itself, is the point. And again, because more Wrecker equals more damage to Makoa Shield equals more Makoa Shield, we scale late game, Pirates benefits more from items. 4 DPS. So I just said like the other team usually has 3 DPS, right? What if the other team has 4 DPS, right? Obviously you need a support so you don't like die, but what if you just go 4 DPS? You know, just more damage. You're not going to test the point against 5 people sitting on it, obviously, like unless you're Yag or Nando, but what if we just played, you know, 4 DPS? So there's 2 very easy ways to beat this. One is ping-ponging, which means the Pirates actually plays off the point, and they play like in a room next to the point, and then they go into the point, they get like 20%, and then they leave the point. And they heal up, they get all their cooldowns back, and then they go back, they get another 20%. And again, you can't do anything about this, right? Like, what, are you going to push 5 people in a small room? That's not going to happen. That's just the fight that Pirates will win. You can't take angles on that, because it's usually those rooms off to the side of the point don't have great LOS on them, right? It's really hard to get those angles on that room. It's very easy to get angles on point, though. So then Pirates will stabilize in that room, go back, capture a little bit, go back in the room, and they'll repeat until they win. You can't really do this against tanks, because then the other team will cap, and it's a decent idea sometimes, and it's definitely doable, but against 4 DPS, ping-ponging will just absolutely win the game for free. There's also draft. Like, what if the other team switch comps? Like, what if you go, yeah, we're going to break this Pirates comp that the enemy team is drafting in, and then the enemy team does this, and then you're like, oh shit, we just picked 4 DPS against an actual composition, we will now proceed to lose the video game. So this isn't really something that you can do. Switching comps like this is one of the most underrated things about Pirates. So, in summary, Pirates is 3 tanks, 2 supports, and it can stack. Triple tank, double support is not necessarily Pirates. You beat triple tank, double support by blowing up the supports. Pirates sucks. For how to beat Pirates, see the previous everything. How to play Pirates guide coming soon, TM. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.